Okay, so today is going to be a bit of a quicker video, hopefully. I just kind of want to state some of the stuff that I've done for studying Japanese in the past. I'll show my Anki Stats, walk through an Excel sheet of kind of my plan going forward based on those stats before my time arriving in Japan, and see just kind of how I want to plan out my studying so that I will have a good base by the time I get there. Yeah, and if you have any more specific questions, because I'm not going into too much detail as I go through about my studying, then feel free to ask down below. But so far, so far nobody's watched any of these videos, which obviously it'd be much easier if I was just getting tons of views right off the bat, but obviously that's not expected, and there's definitely things I need to improve on, and that's the whole point of doing this, but it's definitely still tricky. And I could totally see why a lot of channels upload and then immediately quit. But the important thing is I just keep uploading once a week, make improvements. And yeah. Okay, that's just a tidbit, whatever. So here are my Anki stats. So I've studied an okay amount with Anki. I really like using it. Here you can see where I kind of first started trying to learn some Japanese. I mean, I had in the past, but this is like first time with Anki specifically, I should say. Here is, I did a little bit of studying. I don't remember what I was doing. Something with sentences, so it wasn't like a whole lot. So I got about like 100 reviews, 50 reviews, 30, not a ton, but just sporadically kind of studying, and then stopped because I got bored of doing that. Then you can see there's like a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, or right around December 14th, I started up again on something else, no idea what this was, and studied on and off a little bit, actually somewhat consistent for 2 weeks it looks like, until right after Christmas, which I didn't study at Christmas, and then stopped. So not a ton of study, a little bit here. Then going forward a little bit later, I end up deciding to go for the JLPT. In December of 2024 is what I'm aiming for. So here you can see that's where that study happened. So right here, February 17th is kind of when I decided I want to start studying for this thing, and kind of was off to the races after that. You can see it's slowly building up in reviews, 100, 200, coming here, 300. So steadily kind of progressing through. This was, if I remember correctly, basically just kanji. I was doing vocab as well, but I was trying to study up from 0 to 1,000 kanji here. I did it pretty consistently. This went pretty well for me. Leading up for a while, and even like 500 reviews. I mean, there's points where I was sitting there for 2-3 hours clicking through, trying to get all the kanji done. And it takes a lot of time to clearly do that. So kept going, and here over the summer, once summer starts, that's where things kind of fall apart, because the reviews, sure they look like more, but they're very sporadic, kind of all over the place. Here you can see it's uniform in the sense that it's slowly kind of increasing because I was properly studying. I was not like skipping through things, because Anki's just a click which one you know, good, hard, that type of thing. So here I was doing that correctly. Here I started getting lazy. Not lazy, but I'm tired from doing this so much. And so I also picked up vocab at this point, with the 6,000 vocab needed for the JLPT Ed 2. So here, yeah, it just didn't go great. Also, as I was getting closer to the actual test date in December, which was sometime in here for December, and you can see I stopped studying for a week or two after that, but I already started stopping. Like you could see, these are low numbers to be having before like you're about to take the Ed 2. So yeah, I got demotivated and it just kind of fell apart. I could kind of see around here, actually even around here, that it was just not going to happen. I knew it wasn't, and so got demotivated, and that's where the studying went completely off track. There's some other stats here, but most of them don't really matter too much. I'll just scroll through them real quick if you want to look at them. But yeah, the biggest thing to see, while other things do matter, the biggest thing to see is if you kept up your studying throughout the whole period and did it in the correct way, like you could see at the start. So my kanji is not that great anymore because it's now the end of the year 2025, which I did start studying a little bit again here and here, but fell off twice. And so now is where I'm planning to start up again before I actually go to Japan. So yeah, so here's the Anki stats. That's this part of the video.
Okay, so based off of the Anki stats that I kind of looked at, put together sort of a list of a few things in Excel to plan out how I should kind of start studying from now till the time I would be in Japan, because I want to try and take in the fact that over that period of time studying for the JLPT, I can study an okay amount, that's for sure. Clear with that long spread, I was studying each day, but what do I need to do to make it so that I can keep the study up while doing the correct practices? So I'm actually learning, not just trying to get the numbers through, so I feel like getting things done each day, but then not actually properly studying, which means what's the point of what you're doing? So if I'm kind of assuming, I'm not exactly sure what dates, this 3/23, so March 23rd is the day that I will land or go to Japan, whatever. And today is 11/28 as of recording this. There's about 115 days between there. So that's the number of days to study. First thing I kind of did was chart out what I think would be sleeping. I could do one each day and basically have no issues whatsoever. Then going from easy to medium, hard, and then I'm not doing 25 kanji a day and 50 vocab, unless I want to spend my entire day just doing the reviews, because these are the number of new cards that I would put out each day. So each day I would have to do one new kanji and one new but if I'm doing 25 new kanji and 50 new vocab, that's just add up for the next day. You then have to do the reviews from previous day's new ones, and so it stacks and stacks until you end up sitting with around like 3 to 4 hours of kanji and vocab that you have to sit and do each day. And that's just way too much. So this is kind of my projections of the kanji and vocab being new that I'd be getting each day, and totals that I would end up having seen after the entire study period of that 115 days. Yeah, if I did the sleeping one, I'm only at like 115, which makes sense. You're doing one each day. It's not a lot. Easy, which would be the 5 a day, would get me around 575. The 10s would get me around 1,000. The hard, which is 2025, would be 2,300, 20,000, or 2,300 and 2,875. So it's kind of building up. Using this, I could kind of see, okay, if I gave myself this many new cards a day, then what can I kind of expect to have studied by the end? And so what I would be studying is probably from the most basic up to like the 2,300 points or whatever. I'm not going to like start past that, because I'd rather start with the easy stuff and just make sure I'm hitting everything that I need to hit than accidentally skipping over things. But I'm not entirely sure about that yet, because I do kind of know some stuff already. So if I scroll over here, kind of map this out by the time I get there. The max that I think I would need to know is 2,200 and 6,000. 2,200 would mean I know like all kanji. I can kind of read and understand anything that I'm seeing up to the high school level, which is what a lot of Japanese people's language stops for kanji. If I knew 2,200, I would be perfectly fine. Vocab, if I knew 6,000, I could get through most conversations. So that's where this max needed would possibly be. The max known is what I think that is the max that I could possibly know right now. The max, because I did study from zero to 1,000 kanji, it would be possible that I know around 500 max. I don't think I know the full 1,000. I think the max that I could possibly know right now is 500. Max of vocab is probably around 1,500 possible. Again, I'm making guesses so I can kind of see what I think I need to study and not. Now, the mid needed and mid known, I think it's pretty clear what those are based off the maxes. And so I'm kind of sitting in this range here where I'm using this chart as well as the charts over here, really this bottom one in particular. So now I'm kind of sitting here with these charts, one on the side and this bottom one in particular, because those are what I'm kind of using to gauge how much I want to study. Looking at these, I see that the max needed sitting around 2,200. I don't think I need to know that much. I think obviously it would be nice to know that much, but I don't think that's realistic to do that within 3 months. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to overload myself and then cause me to kind of break down and not want to study anymore because it's too much. And so I don't want to overwhelm myself in that sense. I want to use this to get a realistic idea of what it makes sense to study before I go there. The 1,000 kanji are kind of more important to me because it's just going to be all over the place. And having 1,000 base to then start there when I get there and I can build up to the 2,000 or whatever. I think that's important to kind of not have to work through that original 1,000 again when I arrive. So I think I'd want to hit 1,000 kanji. Vocab, I would like to get more. I'm looking at this medium one because the medium hits that kanji level that I'd want, and I can maybe even go down a little bit on that number of kanji here. So if I went to 8 or maybe just 9 would do it. Yeah, 9 would do it. So you do 9 a day, and I would hit 1,035. If I did that along with vocab now, I'm kind of liking the vocab of hard, where it's at 2,875. I wonder if I did, because I don't want to go so hard. I would rather stay at medium. If I did that, I should not care so much about having rounded out numbers. But if I did 22, so 3 less. I mean, it's not a ton, but 2,500 would be very nice to have by the time I get there. About 20. I guess 300 over. I think that's better. So if I do 9 kanji at 20 vocab, first bit's going to be decently easy because I pretty much know all this already, or a lot of it already, and it might allow me to move faster earlier on. But this is the issue. I want to like push and optimize. No, stick to the 9, stick to the 20. This isn't a race to quickly get there. If it was and I could do it, then I would have done it by now. But I've already seen what happens, overwhelm myself. So 9 and 20, stick with that. I will hit 1,035 and 2,300 vocab by the time I arrive there. I might not study for another few days because of Thanksgiving break and whatnot, so this might go down slightly, but this also might get pushed back more. So again, it's not a race, it's a timeline of trying to get myself along. Yeah, I think that should work out. That seems like a good idea.
Yep, so that's the video. Pretty short, hopefully. I don't know how long I'll make it. I've still got to do that, but that's the study plan. I'll probably make a video or 2 later on, posting the updates as to how that's going. But yeah, it's just Thanksgiving break. I still want to keep the uploads going, like I said before. So see you next week. Bye.